guys, it's Brad here for Brad Stew's Fancy Podcast.
Hey guys, Stu, Daddy Daycare himself here.
And Stu, how's the weather down there?
It's about to rain like cats and fucking dogs.
Well, drive safe while you're doing this with us. So, guess what happened, Stu?
What's that?
We had a trade alert. Looks like you decided you didn't want to, sit on the bench there. You want to get out in the court and play. You traded away DeMarco Murray and Devontae Adams to Rod for Julio Jones. Good job, sir.
Yeah, I'm a fan. All of my team is on bye this week, and guess who I'm fucking playing?
Is it the team that scored? Is it the team that scored the highest points last week?
Yeah, your bullshit stuff. Well, that and the second highest went against me, so yeah, fuck me. It was a necessary trade for everybody. Most of my team don't have buys after this week, so I'm hoping to go on a nice winning streak after this.
Yeah, well, I hope you do starting next week. That would be just.
Well, I might as well start it this week.
Well, hey, can't get everything we want, but guess what? You said there's some rain rolling in. You know what that also means? That means. Well, it was going to be thunder, but apparently our thunder effect isn't working. But it looks like Sam Bradford struck again, Stu.
Oh, he did. He was trying to make up for his previous weeks of letting everybody else down, and he just went. He did hit a multiple of teams, and still hit Mo, and Mo was just like, "Screw it, I'm still going to win with you."
Yeah.
And so, here come the injuries of the week.
Hey, guess what, Stu?
What's that, Brad?
Looks like we do have it.
All right.
Little technical difficulties. But yeah, we're going to start with Ty Montgomery with Day Day.
Yeah, he keeps saying he wants to try to play this week.
Ain't going to happen.
You think it's going to happen?
I don't think it's going to happen because Rob Kelly...
No, not at all.
If we remember, Robert Kelly had bruised ribs earlier in the season, full practice all week, and still didn't play. So...
Yeah, and Ty Montgomery has 2 broken ribs. Not just like bruised, broken.
Yeah, snapped. So
yeah, I don't see that. I don't see him playing this week. Day Day doesn't seem like he's too worried about it because he got Alvin Kamara. But guess what? He's on bye this week. So, it'll be interesting to see what Day Day does to make up for it. Number 2 is Vince. He has Derek Carr went down.
Yeah.
He pretty much pulled a Romo and messed with his back really bad. I'm pretty sure he's out. The news was 2 to 6 weeks.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be all 6 weeks. He's their franchise quarterback. They're not going to rush him back.
Why would you? They're already shitting it up. They don't have really a great schedule coming up. So why would you? I don't know why you would. So yeah, they're going to play the backup. I'm hoping that means more runs for me personally. For Lynch, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, they've got a couple of rough matchups coming up.
And then looks like Mo, I was really upset with Mo when he picked up Chris Carson, because I was going to. And then, well, it didn't matter. Chris Carson spraining his ankle and then fracturing his leg underneath his right knee.
Well, we're going to end up talking about that Seahawks backfield here shortly, but yeah, it kind of sucks for him. He does have Powell, which he went off last week against the Jags. So hopefully that'll be a good guy for him for right now. It's not really helping him for the buys, but it'll be all right. And then it looks like Sanu went down too. That was Julio and Sanu, but Sanu is going to be out 2 to 3 weeks with a hamstring.
Yep. so he's not going to be able to use him for a while. And then he also had his tight end, which good thing there's tight end in waivers, Mo. Jack Doyle, concussion, he's day-to-day. But that Colts offense, it's so hit and miss. I couldn't trust the tight end in it right now.
Yeah, Jack Doyle was one of their highest targets. I understood why I picked him up. But yeah, with him having a concussion protocol, I think I would probably end up just dropping him and picking up another tight end off the waiver. There's a couple out there. We'll get to that later, though.
Yeah.
And then you.
Yeah. I had Sam Bradford has special interest in me this week.
Yeah, he was. You were got a little too godlike, and he thought he'd bring you down with the rest of these mortals. And Dalvin Cook, torn ACL, out for the year.
Yeah.
Good luck replacing that running back.
Yeah. Lovick had no problem. Who was dropping that 149 burger on last week had no problem texting me saying, "Hey, Cook's down, non-contact injury. Your boy's out, probably the ACL." Which to my reply was, I hope Tom Brady gets dementia and walks into traffic. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of got a similar message on Thursday whenever my guy got carted off to the hospital. So I know where you're coming from. Got one of those lovely Lubbock text messages, just to the point. So. Yeah. It happens. He's so caring to us all.
He is the Adam Schefter of our league, but only when it's negative.
Well, speaking of Lubbock, OBJ with that nasty twisted finger issue, that just looked awful. You saw some of the pictures of it. But apparently it's just sore. He shouldn't miss any time, but it's one of those nagging injuries. He is a wide receiver. They do catch footballs a lot, so it's not going to probably necessarily feel great to do that, and so he could drop a couple more, but he's OBJ.
He can always catch one hand. Yeah.
Yeah, he's too competitive. He's too competitive not to do something.
And then Sam, he joined Vince with the Getting Their Quarterback Hurt Club with Marcus Mariota. Hurt his hamstring. They took him out of the game. Didn't even bother putting him back in because the Texans were just whipping him. And so he's day-to-day. I don't think he returns. I think they probably give him a week to kind of make sure that Hammy's...
Yeah. Well, see, and I really think that they were being a little more cautionary, like, hell, we're losing by this much. You're not bringing us back with this kind of injury, so let's just take you out altogether. I completely agree. I kind of think he's out this week. Should come back pretty quick, but I think they found that there was a report that they signed a backup quarterback already. So
yeah, so they're going to go ahead and probably not going to play him this week. They're already making those moves, and then Julio Jones, your guy, he had a hip flexure. They took him out of the game, and kind of the same thing, but I think maybe not as bad. They're like, we're just not letting you back in, even though he wanted to go back in.
Well, it's one of those things. I'm hoping they just tried to save him and try to make sure he gets through the rest of the year. He kind of had a similar kind of issue last year, so
every year
that doesn't continue and he heals up. The bye really is in his favor this week, so he's got a full 2 weeks.
But that's the story of Julio Jones. Limited practice all week, plays on Sunday. That's just the life of him. The guy gets used too much to not be nicked up. He's the focal point of their offense with Devontae Freeman, and he gets corners get physical with him. That's just the way it goes. And but he, like I said, you picked him up at a good time with the bye week. I mean, not a good time where you're not going to play him, but at least he'll be healthy. So at least I have a fully healthy guy coming out. And then Rod, you trade him to Devontae Adams, but he shouldn't be out too long. He had a concussion, so it just depends on how he does that concussion protocol.
He was out of the hospital pretty quick. They've got him under concussion protocol, but everything else seems to be working. There are some reports that he may play this week, but I don't know why they would. That was a nasty, dirty hit. If he plays this week, great. That's awesome. But I just don't know, especially with him not being out of concussion protocol quick enough. I don't know if they'll end up playing him or not, but if not, he should come back pretty quick and still do pretty good for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and there's a lot of noise that was going on this past Sunday, Stu, and that noise was this. That's the noise of some fantasy zombies because we had some players come back to life that we thought were dead.
Oh yeah. Well,
We'll start.
There was a lot of those. Well, I mean, like there were some people that just showed up out of the middle of nowhere, hadn't really scored anything all year, and then all of a sudden they decided, hey, I'm on Brad and Levick and Mo's team. Let's just go fucking nuts.
Well, I picked out 4 guys who I think are going to be doing something moving forward. And my first guy is Lamar Miller, 75 yards rushing, 50 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. That's the classic Miami Lamar Miller we all knew. Texans got a quarterback. Shocker. It opens up the run game. And I wish I didn't trade him.
And, my bet is feeling really secure right now.
I bet it does. I bet that water bet does feel good.
Both of them. Both of those water bets feel amazing right
now. Now Lovick was feeling the brunt of Miller time. But you, sir, were getting Blau-Powelled because Blau-Powell came back to life with 163 yards rushing, 27 yards receiving, and a touchdown.
Yeah, and I don't think Mo even had to pay very much for him. That was the thing. I always know whenever he comes back and he's the main guy and gets all the targets, he tends to go pretty crazy. But the Jags D has been pretty good lately, but this last week they're like, screw it, it's the Jets, fuck them, let us a couple.
By the way, get that man Oscar for that 1 touchdown run.
Oh yeah.
Also, for Dixon's team, DeAndre Hopkins, 107 yards receiving and a touchdown, and he looked like the DeAndre Hopkins from a few years ago.
Oh yeah, when I had him on my team, yeah, no, that's for sure. He actually has it looks like
a quarterback.
He's gonna finally get to have the quarterback he always wanted for Christmas. So that's what everybody's been saying. Hopkins is amazing. No one's ever doubted his talents. He just needed the quarterback to be able to get the targets and get everything he needed. Looks like the Texans may have struck gold there.
And could you guess who the biggest fantasy zombie of the week is?
I cannot.
He was on Lovick's bench, and I'm glad he was, Mr. Cam Newton.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's been about a full fantasy season since we've seen this guy be himself. Because the second half of last year, he was bad. So far this year, he was bad. But here comes New England, and they just make every quarterback look like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and that's really the news of the week. That if you have this year, if you have somebody playing against the New England Patriots, please, dear God, play them, because they are going off. Mike Evans this week, I almost traded Shep for Mike Evans this week. I predict he's going to go crazy because that Patriots defense is fucking awful. Their offense, great. Their offense is phenomenal. But the first week we were like, well, what's wrong with the Chiefs? Are the Chiefs really this good? Which they are looking like they are. But at the same time, they just destroyed the Patriots. And then you have Cam Newton. Cam Newton has looked like hot garbage for 3 weeks straight. He's had some pretty tough defenses to play. He plays the New England Patriots and goes fucking nuts.
Yeah, and I have a question to you, Stu. I got a question about Marshawn Lynch, and I got a drop for Marshawn Lynch for you. Yeah, because I think that man's been abducted by aliens because I have not seen him on the field the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Last week I know why that they didn't run him. They didn't really play him very much. They want to save him, but at this point, your season's about to go down the drain, so fuck saving him.
And that's the thing. You wonder if they'll lean on him or not.
They were down so much last week that I understand you can't run, but not running at all. You have this amazing guy. Why would you sit him on the bench? I understand saving him, protecting him. That's fine. Do that during practice during the week. Don't do that during the game, because if you don't play him during the game, you're not going to get anything out of it.
And you know what? if he doesn't do anything out of it, you know what's going to happen? This is going to happen. Tim's Tow Truck Company is going to come haul you away is what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, he is one of my kind of cringe-worthy picks from the draft. Had a couple, but that's one of them right there. Like, he should have traded him away before the season started, like I thought about doing. So
yeah, and I don't think we should do it this week because I just now came up with it. But I'm thinking maybe weeks going forward, we should pick somebody that Tim's tow truck should come and just tow away off your team because some players just don't need to be on a team anymore. I'm not talking. I wouldn't drop Marshawn Lynch, but there's definitely players on teams right now that should not be on teams.
Yeah, Terrence West, I'm pretty sure, is hot garbage. Alex Smith is pretty much taking over that backfield, which I know you have.
But, Alex Collins.
No,
yeah.
Sure
Woo pig.
West is just get towed away.
Okay, and I want to go ahead, and if you want to, we can go ahead and move on to the power rankings.
All right.
Yeah, like Stu and I do, we do consensus power rankings. I turn in mine, he turns in his. We do a weight thing. Tiebreakers, we decide the tiebreaker is most points scored in the season at that point. So we're going to go ahead. Number one is still Day Day.
Number two, we have Dixon. Dixon, Day Day, you guys are kind of neck and neck with that 4-0 win streak. I have a feeling if Dixon can skate past these bye weeks, he may have the first spot in the playoffs pretty easily. This might be the week that he loses, but I'm not sure. But Day Day does not look to have the bye week material, so I'm seeing these rankings going to change possibly soon.
Yeah, and same thing. We got number three without a quarterback, and that's Vince.
Yeah, Gurley's looking good.
He is. He's looking real good.
Quarterback and some of your other pieces missing now. You did have a good piece of news that Luck was back, so that might mean T.Y. Hilton may become a thing.
Yeah. And probably one of the most consistent scorers in the league is number 4, Mo.
It last week just came out of nowhere. He has not scored over 100 points for the season. Glad I could be that lucky charm for you there, Mo.
And then I'll go ahead and pull up at number 5. And then number 6, we got Adam.
He's been looking good. He's making the right moves. I would not have guessed that Carson Palmer could be a starting quarterback on your fantasy team and you'd be winning, but Adam has been seen to making it work. He's 2-2, so he's doing all right. Not as bad as some of us. Pretty much everyone after him.
And number 7, which I'm going to go ahead and nickname the Gauntlet, which is Lovick, because he's got OBJ, he's got Des Bryant, and Tom Brady. And anytime you're going to go against those 3 guys, you're going to have to score points. And I'm glad I scored points because his team went off too.
Yeah, it's pretty much the me and Rod situation from week 1. We both had the second and third highest points. We just happened to be playing each other.
Yep.
So,
and then, but you're right there with them at number 8 with the Julio Jones trade. I think you're gonna have a real good chance of pushing that top 6 within a few weeks with no problem.
Well, that's what the buys pretty much being all done after this week, hoping that will get me by, and Julio and Freeman can stay healthy. They've got a pretty nice lineup coming up of games, so I'm hoping they just kind of go off against Sam next week, Day Day, and then Matt. So I'm hoping it can happen.
And then number 9, we got Rod.
Brown not scoring is not going to continue, but his team's looking a little rough. He can win a couple here. There's definitely people below him, but with the Julio trade, I'm not sure Murray gonna do great. I feel this week with Mariota out, but I don't know how that's gonna translate the rest of the season. And with me having Henry, if Murray goes down, I just get a free running back 1.
Yep, and then number 10, everybody hop on the Ezekiel Elliott and Travis Kelce train because Sam started at 0-3 but looked really good this week. And you know what? If those 2 click and Brandon Cooks clicks, that's a team that can put up 100 points.
Oh, yeah. Zeke is still a little scary because we actually should find out sometime today.
Yeah.
Even if he's going to get him for the rest of the season, and if he does, Sam may have a bright future and might get at least purgatory or playoffs, somewhere in that range, if he's got a nice little streak coming. But if he loses Zeke, I'm not sure how the rest of his season's going to go.
Yeah. And then number 11, the man who refuses to trade still, despite polls telling him he needs to, is Copro.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some decent players. He does. He's not playing all of them all the time or in the right order, but that's kind of the luck of fantasy football. But yeah, he's going to have to start joining the trade club shortly, or he's going to join the second dildo club.
That's a club nobody wants to be in.
Nobody.
And then pulling up the rear at the very bottom is Mr. Matthew Shepard.
Of the current I want the dildo really bad club.
Yeah, unfortunately, like the Big Ben quarterback thing's just not working out. He's trying to go ahead and build his team up, trying to put Diggs and Evans on the trade block, but he's wanting RB1, and well, Matt, there's not that many RB1s out there. If they are out there, they ain't getting traded. Todd Gurley went, and it cost Antonio Brown. So it's, I just don't think it's going to happen. But we'll see. Most points scored.
Matt's been struggling. Tyrod Taylor's not really a dependable backup.
No, he's only a fill-in every couple of weeks or so type of quarterback.
Yeah, he's a streamer. He is. Now, Jay Cutler as a streamer was not a really great piece of advice last week.
No. Jay Cutler is trash on every team. Yeah, Adam Gase, I thought he might have a magic wand with Jay Cutler. He doesn't. It just doesn't exist.
Jay Cutler was garbage in Chicago last year, and he's hot garbage in Miami. So
yeah, hot garbage. Well, like I said, bye weeks are coming up, so waivers are going to get more and more important. Your depth of your bench is going to become important. This week, we have Atlanta, Denver, New Orleans, and Washington on bye. And that's a lot of big-name players on bye, Stu.
They're all on my team.
Yeah, you got the two Atlanta players. But with Denver, you're losing C.J. Anderson, Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. New Orleans, you're losing Breeze, Michael Thomas, Kamara. And then, Washington, you're losing Terrell Pryor and Kirk Cousins and Jordan Reed if he ever comes back. Robert Kelly, Chris Thompson. So a lot of guys people have been relying on early on in the year, they're not going to have for this week. So we'll go ahead and get some waiver wires here. So hold on one second. I got a waiver wire drop for you, Stu.
Show me the money!
Because that's what you're going to have to do to get some of these players, Stu.
Oh, shit. All right, we're going to start at quarterback here. We have Kaiser versus Jets.
I like it. Deshaun Kaiser, he can get you with your legs, and that's why he's appealing, is because he may only get you one touchdown or two. It's kind of a ceiling, but he's going to get you 40 yards, 50 yards rushing.
Well, the Jets defense clearly is not great, hence they keep being everybody wants to match up against them.
Yeah.
Kaiser being his first week, he's got amazing running backs with Howard and Cohen. So I feel like and they're really good pass catchers, or at least Cohen is. So, I really feel like he may get to do that a lot against the Jets. So you may see Cohen go off this week with Kaiser. So it might be a nice pickup for Matt there.
And one I put on here for you, Stu, is the opposite quarterback, McCown against the Browns, the Jets quarterback.
Yeah, that's just revenge play right there. That's just he's going to play a little angry for the for the Browns dropping him. So it might be an interesting pickup. We'll see how that goes. And then the third quarterback is Brandon Hoyer.
Yeah, I think Hoyer against the Colts. You want to start any quarterback against the Colts, and Hoyer's still got Pierre Garcon, Garcon, if I'm going to pronounce it correctly for our league. So he's still got Garcon. I think Garcon has a good game. I think Carlos Hyde has a good game. like I said, if you're facing the Colts defense, you play your players.
Yep, no, it's for sure.
Yeah.
The 49ers need a couple of wins here, so this is a chance they needed.
And I got one on here for wide receivers, Stu. We'll go ahead and go into them. Can you tell me a little bit about Tyler Lockett for the Seahawks?
Tyler Lockett, well, with the garbage that is the Seahawks running game, I'm pretty sure they're just going to have to move to a pass offense. Lockett's looked nice. He's gotten upgraded targets. Russell Wilson's looked better. So I think Lockett for that long ball, he might be a pickup for those, or at least a chance flex position pickup for those guys needing a wide receiver this week on buys. And then for the Chargers, we have Mike Williams.
I think right now, if you're going to pick this guy up, this is the week to do it, because you might be able to sneak buying him for a 0 bid or a 1 point bid or something real cheap. And let's not forget what this guy did at college. And he and Deshaun Watson whooped up on that Bama defense. And Mike Williams is a game changer. That's why they drafted him so early in the first round. They drafted this guy to be their deep threat. They drafted him to be better than Keenan Allen. And I think he's going to be that guy. I think it's going to take a while. But I think toward the end of the year, he has the potential to be an every week starter. And then talking about a guy though, if you need stats now and you don't have the room to stash the guy, the other Chargers wide receiver might be the guy to go get, which is Tyrell Williams.
Yeah, no, he finally had that breakout week. Had that week that everybody was looking for. Knew that he could do it. I know he just recently got dropped after not putting up any points the first 3 weeks, and then of course he goes off week 4. So. He's going to be that guy with a nice floor. Rivers seems to be kind of forming a relationship with him. I would say he's one of the top wide receiver pickups of the week. And then our last wide receiver, the guy with 2 touchdowns on his first week back, Will Fuller for the Texans.
Oh, yeah. And let's not forget, his first couple games as a rookie last year, guy was phenomenal. I mean, he had high trade value. And then the Brock Osweiler saga took a very sour turn. But now he's back, and like DeAndre Hopkins, Lamar Miller, apparently when you have a competent quarterback, your offense flows.
Yeah. The Texans defense came in looking to be a run-first offense, and after getting their new quarterback here, they seem to be able to potentially support 2 wide receivers fully to fantasy. So
yeah.
I think Fuller is going to be that guy whenever everybody's double teaming Hopkins. He's going to pass it. Deshaun Watson's going to pass it to Fuller. From some of the reports I've seen and read about their relationship, Fuller's been hurt, but they've been doing extra practices together after practice, just the 2 of them, and working on their routes together and passing together. So I think that could be a nice pickup for somebody if they want to stash him, or if they need an immediate start this week.
Yeah, and then we can go ahead and go on to running backs. And since my boy Cook's down, I think the obvious pickup if you want a running back for the Vikings is Latavius Murray, who right now is still battling an ankle injury. So he's not quite 100% yet. So, I think it's kind of temper expectations. I don't think he's going to have the same carries as Cook or the same amount of points, but I do think he'll be the guy who gets the touchdowns in the goal line area.
He's the guy that's going to play the rest of the season. I don't know how much they're going to use him. I don't know how much they're going to immediately put him in this week. But with Cooks out, McKinnon not ever really doing anything.
No.
Sucking every time he's ever gotten a chance to be the main guy. Murray's going to be the guy. So I just don't know with that injury and with everything else, I don't know when they're going to actually let him be the full-time guy. It may be a split for a while, but he's going to be the head guy for the remainder of the season.
Okay.
And then we have Jones. With Williams going down also and possibly going to be out another week.
Which that
Montgomery
stunk, by
does
the
not
way.
play. If he doesn't play, he's the starter. He's the guy. There's no one else there. They don't have any other guy behind. They don't really have anybody behind him that of note. He's going to get all the points this week. So if you need a quick start, just a 1 week and a week and dump, this is the guy to pick up.
Yeah. Do you understand how angry I am that to be like, I'm picking up Jamal Williams right before the Thursday night game just in case something happens. And right in the first quarter, Ty Montgomery gets hurt. I'm on.
Did you get to that trade?
Oh yeah, I'm on cloud 9. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have the Green Bay the running back, and then all of a sudden he goes down.
Now, were you actually trying to trade him?
I was trying to trade him during the game, and then he got hurt.
It's like, hey, whoever you were trying to trade, you're like, hey, just turn off your phone, just talk to me, and we'll just talk. We'll just talk over a landline. Don't use your cell phone. Don't use the internet. Don't watch football right now. We'll just talk, okay, and get a trade going.
Oh yeah, once the injury happened, I tried to trade him for a kicker. Okay, and the next guy we got the Seattle mess up, which is Thomas Rawls and Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, good luck. Pick one. It's I personally think Eddie Lacy's going to be the number one guy, but who knows? They've both been healthy scratches.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Nobody knows, and I mean, and clearly the offensive line for the Seahawks is hot garbage. So who the hell knows what's about to happen with that? Pick one because everybody wants a running back. Somebody has to take some type of chance on one of them, but I don't know who it would be. Eddie Lacy's my bet.
Yeah.
And then for the Giants, we have Wayne Gallman.
Yeah, this guy, well, he's just better than Paul Perkins. I mean, Paul Perkins
is
trash. He's a trash bag.
Like, God almighty.
Yeah, he has the mobility of a bowling pin.
Did Gallman go off for like 18 points this week somehow?
Yeah, yes, he did.
Like, I mean, if you need a running back, he's like the first running back for the Giants that I've actually seen any like, wow, that was a really good play for the Giants running game. Like, that it doesn't happen. It's not the way they play. It's not the way they recruit. Clearly, he's the first one I've seen that's any interest as an actual running back game for the Giants.
And if you had any tight end injuries, there's actually a couple tight ends you go out and get. They're pretty serviceable. They're not going to get you the Gronk numbers or anything like that, but they should definitely get you more than 0. Hunter Henry. We got Ben Watson for the Ravens.
I had him last 2 weeks ago. He didn't do much because that was that awful England game, but actually he still scored 7 points. I just didn't put him on my fucking bit. I didn't put him on my roster. I decided to go to Delaney Walker. So he's actually getting a consistent 7, 8, 9 points, which is more than what you could say about most other tight ends out there, even the big name ones. So he's a pretty good pickup, and I kind of, if I need a bye-week pickup, that might be my guy.
Yeah. And then we got the guy I like, who I think is probably the best tight end pickup, is Austin Seferian Jenkins for the Jets. And that's because he's leading the team in targets every week now. And that's what you want. You want volume. You know, they're constantly trying to throw to the guy because they ain't got anybody else to throw to.
Yeah, it's kind of the crapshoot of all crapshoots. But this was kind of predicted. He's had those first couple weeks he was suspended or on injury list of some sort of, like, there was some reason he didn't get to play the first 2 games, but he's the future for the Jets tight end position. He's pretty good, clearly, and they're giving him the ball. I mean, I definitely look into him.
Yeah, and then another tight end we got is Ryan Griffin for the Texans. And just because they actually have a quarterback, and the Texans do like to throw their tight end. Their offense is so few tight end.
Horowitz is not coming back this year, I don't think. Ryan Griffin is a hope play. I don't know that. I mean, last week they went off and they didn't.
Yeah, didn't even need him.
Through to him, but I mean, whenever he's a security blanket, that's pretty much what most tight ends are for most teams. And so I feel if you need a tight end really bad and don't know where else to go, most of the rest of them are already picked up by everybody else, and you need one desperately, yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah, and then defense. I'll tell you what. This is the week I do not want to stream defenses. Baltimore Ravens might be the best bet because they're going against Oakland and EJ Manuel.
No car.
Yeah, with no car. But the Ravens defense has also put up negative 4 points to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I think you're probably safer though with the Ravens this week than weeks past. And then we also got Miami against probably the Titans without Marcus. So all they have to do is stop the run and they should be okay. But we'll see how that goes. Between the Ravens and Miami, which one would you pick up?
I'm probably going to go Ravens just because the Oakland D is not the greatest. The Ravens D is better against the wide receiver.
Yep.
And I think Crabtree's still out. And then with Carr out, they're going to have to go to Amari Cooper. But with that kind of D, I think they're going to get a couple of interceptions this week. So the Ravens might be the one, definitely be the one to pick up between those two. But Miami's not a bad choice if someone else picks up the Ravens.
Okay, and I want to go on to the weekly picks here. I got Vince over Matt. I got Sam over CoPro, Adam over Day Day, Mo over Rod, Lovick over Dixon, and Stu, I got myself over you, but that's just because Freeman and Julio Jones are on bye. That kind of.
I literally have 4 guys on bye already on my bench right now.
So
I'm about to trade away Murray and Adams. So for a guy that's on bye, so I'm about to have 4 people on my bench on bye this week.
And
so I completely understand why you picked me. I almost told you congratulations on the win. But we'll see how the waiver wire goes for me and see if I can pick up a couple of pieces to make it interesting.
Yeah, and once again, guys, we kind of want to remind you, we got the YouTube channel. Hope you're all visiting it and you're enjoying the videos and the podcasts and stuff we're doing just for fun, And we're you guys are open to go ahead and do it too, right, Stu?
Yeah. So we'll help you guys with whatever you need to do on the YouTube channel. If you and Lovick or Kaprovic, Rodney, whoever wants to do it, we can give you advice on any of the podcast stuff. We actually have Adam doing a podcast this Saturday, I believe. Correct?
Yeah, where he's wanting to record one this Saturday, and I believe we already have something set up. I think it's going to go something like this.
Welcome to the Guru's Fantasy Corner.
That's right. We'll have our first episode of the Guru's Fantasy Corner. So we're looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to whatever shenanigans Adam has planned. Which it's going to be completely non-scripted, which I think is the only way to do with Adam.
Adam.
We can give him an outline, but ain't going to follow.
Family, and I think I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to go outside real quick, and I'm going to listen to Adam's podcast on Saturday for sure. It's going to be amazing to hear.
Yeah, you have your headphones in when you listen to it, because I'm pretty sure that if this thing was on TV, it'd be nothing but a constant bleep. So,
okay, we're all going to hear about how awful we are at fantasy football, and we just need to learn how to be as good as the Guru, and so I can only imagine the language that's going to occur.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen his power rankings that he posted on the league website that he texted out, that he typed out, go read it. His rant is of the most epic proportions. I sat down and giggled like a little schoolgirl for 5 minutes after I read it.
Oh yeah, no, it was glorious. I sit there and read it to Lauren, and she's like, "Oh dear God, he makes you all look awful at fantasy football." I was like, Yeah, he does.
Well, it come to smack talk. I felt like he had 3 weeks stored up right there. He just released it upon us.
Well, he doesn't have GroupMe. I would be afraid to know what he puts all the time if he had GroupMe like the rest of us. So he stores it all up. He waits till each week, and now he's just going to explode it into a podcast for us.
Yeah, I mean, Adam knows more cuss words than Vince has scarves.
I don't think that's possible.
I don't think so either.
No, there's not that many words in the English language to the amount of scarves in Vince's closet.
I mean, what's the temperature up in New York City right now? It's got to be already 30 degrees, right?
It's scarf weather. As soon as it hits, August 2nd, it's scarf weather for Vince.
Well, Vince, go find a quarterback, sir. You don't have one. And I'm sure Lovick will trade you Cam Newton. So, thank y'all for coming. Enjoyed it. And we'll talk to y'all next week.
Have a good week, guys.
The Brett and Stu Fantasy Podcast is the official podcast of the Kappa Sigma Alumni Fantasy Football League.